Minor adjustments are dedicated to preventing and reducing crime. Our primary purpose is to teach men or women how to make the minor adjustments that are necessary in their lives, which will allow them to obtain and maintain a productive lifestyle after incarceration and or rehabilitation. Our motto is anywhere but backwards. Everybody say anywhere but backwards. The words in that mission statement, it says to obtain, and the other one is maintain. Listen to me. To obtain means to come into the possession of something. Maintain means to keep it in existence. Listen. The reason why I say that, everybody say to obtain my sobriety is easy. To obtain my sobriety is easy. Our challenge is to maintain it. Say to obtain our sobriety is easy. To obtain our sobriety is easy. Our challenge is to maintain it.
Woo! To attain our sobriety is easy. Our challenge is to maintain it. My name's Michael Mickey Williams Jr. Welcome everybody to another Minor Adjustments virtual group. Every time I hear my own self say the mission statement, I say this every time I do the group. It encourages me because everything that I teach the individuals, I apply to my life on a daily basis. This has been going on for the last 15 years. Everything that you hear me say in that video, I apply to my life on this day, as of this day right now. So let's see here. Again, welcome everybody to the Minor Adjustments virtual group. Our motto is simple. It's anywhere but backwards. So I want to put a few things inside the comment section so individuals can be able to download them later. One of the things I want to add is I want to add the a link to all of the things that we have in store for individuals who would like to purchase different things, shirts, videos, books. I'm going to put everything that I have inside the comment section so individuals can click on those things at a later date. So let me first put the website. Let's put the website in here first. And with the website, once we have the website in there, everything that you probably want dealing with minor adjustments, you can go to the website and it'll be a lot easier for individuals who follow along with the minor adjustments program. All right, so I'll put that in the comment section for you guys, and so that we'll be able to see everything that we have. All right, so let's see. I also want to see. Yeah, I'll also put in there the playlist of all the previous lessons we have done. I'll put that in there as well, because a lot of times when you're doing certain things, lessons that people probably are looking for, we have already covered it. So I want to share this playlist with you guys, so you'll be able to go back and watch some of the videos that we have previously done. So I'll share that with you also. I'll put that in there. All right, so that way we'll have everything that we have in store. We'll be able to see everything. All right, let's see. Again, today we're going to be talking about the short story. We're going to be looking in the book. I'm going to unpack, pull over, pause, and park on certain things. I'm just simply going into a short story that's in the particular workbook, the Minor Adjustments Student Handout Workbook, which is this particular book. We're going to look at some things that's in the book. Then this is the 19th. Today's the 19th. So next Thursday, we really won't have a group, and then we'll come back in the New Year's and we'll go into the second workbook. There's a second workbook that we're going to do lessons, and prayerfully we'll have a facilitator in the building with you guys. If you're at the Salvation Army in Wilkesboro, Pennsylvania, we'll have somebody there to be able to assist you with the new workbook that we have coming to you guys. All right, let's see. All right, let's see what we got here. One thing I want to go back to is the mission statement. When we went over when the video came on, we had on page 5. It has, I'm sorry, page 6. It talks about the mission statement. It said minor adjustments is dedicated to preventing and reducing crime, and our primary purpose is to teach men or women how to make the minor adjustments that are necessary in their lives, which will allow them to obtain and maintain a productive lifestyle after incarceration and or rehabilitation. Our motto is anywhere but backwards. So the mission statement is very important here. If you notice these two words that are very big on there highlighted, this is my particular book, and the words are obtain and the other one is maintain. Why is that important? That's a good question. I'm glad you asked. On the next page, it says to obtain means to come into the possession of something. To maintain means to keep something in existence. The reason why it's very important is because if I didn't tell you, if you do not know, for 22 years I struggled with crack cocaine and heroin and criminal lifestyle for 22 years of my life, from the age of 16 to the age of 38. However, I realized at the age of 38 that to obtain my sobriety was actually the easy part. Because how can I say that? Because when I went to prison, I didn't use drugs. When I went to programs, I stopped using drugs. So whenever I was threatened with going back to prison, the judge told me he was going to send me to jail, I would stop using drugs. So I realized that to attain my sobriety was actually the easy part. The part that I was having a problem with was maintaining the sobriety that I had obtained. So in August 2009, this is my date when the last time I used a substance or alcohol. It was in 2009 in August, right? I obtained my sobriety in that day, that month, that year, August 2009. In August 2010, I did not have to go obtain my sobriety again. I simply had to go from when I obtained it in August 2009. I had to do whatever I needed to do to maintain what I had come into the possession of. So this maintaining stage, I actually built up my spiritual relationship with God. I created a recovery support network, a social support network, family support network. All of these things, relapse prevention skills, all of these things were included into the process of maintaining the sobriety that I had obtained. And going back to the mission statement, remember, minor adjustments is dedicated to preventing and reducing crime. Our primary purpose, meaning our first goal, our first aim, is to teach men and women how to pay attention, child of God, how to make the necessary adjustments. There's a lot of individuals under the sound of my voice that's watching this video now, or will watch this video later, who only need to make the necessary adjustments. If you make the necessary adjustments in your life, it will propel you into a life that I cannot even explain. If you make the necessary adjustments are the things that you know you need to adjust. Now pay attention to me. Remember, to attain your sobriety is easy. The challenge is to maintain it. Most of your life, if you struggle with whatever it is, whatever your stronghold, vices, addiction, whatever terminology, because sometimes we get caught up in, I don't say I'm an addict and I don't say, that's okay. Whatever terminology you would like to use it. I just want to get you to the point of what do you need to do to maintain your sobriety that you have come into the possession of. So you came into the possession of your sobriety, but what do you have to do to maintain it? All right. So we want to worry about all of those things. We're going to get a lot more in debt. We're going to get a lot more in debt with those things, though. But we're going to one of the things we're going to do is we're going to look at how I can use my past to push me into my destiny. So that's another part you want to try to go to. How can we use our past? Because we have a past lifestyle, but we have to learn how to use our past in order to push us into our destiny. All right. So let's see what we got here. One of the things I also want to go over is the short story. Let's get to the short story. It's on page 8. I'm just going to pull over, pause, and park. I'm going to read it. I'm going to grab some principles out of it, and I'm going to give you the principles that I gleaned from it. Now, this particular short story right here in the book is a true story. This is a true story. So let's see what we got here. It says, I love a good story, especially a true story. I didn't even realize that was there. I'm always interested in all types of different people from different walks of life. I am as interested in their mess up as I am in their successes. Watch this. Why would a person, me included, right, want to know about a person's where they messed up at more than I want to know about how they succeeded? The reason why you want to try to learn from an individual where they missed the mark or messed up at is because you can learn a lot. There is absolutely nobody who has been successful at anything that didn't experience some failures or some type of mess ups on their way to success. And watch this. A lot of times people don't broadcast or talk about where they missed it. They might talk about where they succeeded. However, I'm always interested in, like it says, I'm always interested in their mess up just as I am in their successes. I learn a lot from an individual, especially if you're willing to share it with me. Now, granted, a lot of individuals aren't willing to share too much of where they missed it. Like they might say a lot of different things, but they wouldn't like share like too much of where they missed the mark at, because people might hold it feet to the fire, or they might want to talk about it, or you know what I mean. So a lot of people don't share all they where they missed it at, but it's okay because I learn from people where they messed up at. Not to judge them, but I know what mistakes I don't have to make. This is one of the things that I use as a tool with my own particular clients. I try to use where I messed up at to tell my clients how I know when they're trying to do something that it's not going to work. And they be like, Mr. Williams, how you know it's not going to work? Because most of them don't understand or know unless I reveal it to them that I struggled with drugs for 22 years before I became a certified drug and alcohol counselor. So when I'm explaining it to them, I'm not explaining it to them because I read it in the book. Yes, I went to school to get board certified. That's true. But I also have on-the-job training. Woo-wee! That came out real sweet. I also have on-the-job training, so I'm able to show people that things that they are planning to do or trying to do is not going to work. It might look good, but it's not going to actually work. So I got to explain that to them, all right? So let's look at what else we got. All right, let me read it again. I want to know how they ended up where they are and how they fell from where they were. How they ended up where they are and how they fell from where they were. If you know any individuals who had years of sobriety, right, and they might be in a facility with you right now. They might have had 4 years, 5 years, or 10 years, or whatever, and they ended up relapsing, right? You want to try to talk to them without judging them and find out, how did you fall back down after 10 years of being, walking in your sobriety and everything? What happened? Do you mind discussing it with me? Are you able to give me some pointers about what you went through? This is what you want to do. You want to try to find out how you ended up back here after you telling me you had all these years removed from it. All right? So you got to understand. You need to learn. This short story is about two different men that ended up at the same place for two different reasons. One was a young and reckless, and the other one was old and wise. The young man got locked up in the early 90s for selling drugs in his community and ended up in prison at Mountain Youth Correctional Facility. As he lived so far from near, he received a visit hardship transfer, which landed him in Riverfront State Prison in New Jersey, in Camden. Now, once he got there, he was put into a cell with this older inmate whom we will call Mr. Mike. This older man first got to know the younger man to find out what crimes he committed and also to figure out how much time he had to do. Then he explained to the younger man that he was in prison for murder and that he was never going home. So stay with me. Look at the picture. Here you got a young guy. He's in there. He's in there for selling drugs and committing all types of crime. He's in the room with a man who has committed murder, who is never going home again, according to the laws that he was sentenced under. He's not scheduled to leave at all, right? So as the years are going by, Mr. Mike would always talk to the younger man and tell the younger man that he has to change his direction about what to do with his life inside prison. I gotta pull over, pause, and park right here for a moment, right? The lifer told the younger man that he has to make changes while he was inside prison before he left out of prison. This is very important. If you're in a facility, you cannot wait till you leave the facility to start to make the changes that you need. Okay, that's good. To make minor adjustments that are necessary. You have to make the minor adjustments that are necessary while you are inside. The reason why you want to make the adjustments while you are inside is because once you leave the facility, and once you leave the comfort of that program, wherever you may be, you no longer have certain boundaries or support that you had while you were there. So you want to make sure, just like he told him, inside prison, he says, Mr. Mike would always talk to the younger man. He would tell the younger man that he has to change his direction about what to do with his life inside prison. Watch this. And not wait until he got home to try to change his course. Listen, I'm teaching from personal experience. You cannot wait till you go home and then make up in your mind you're going to make minor adjustments that are necessary adjustments. It doesn't work like that. You need to at least prioritize making these decisions while you are actually currently in this particular facility. Oh man, I'm not even going to charge you for that. That's free. Watch this. So he says, finally, the time came for, he says you gotta, I'm going to start from the top. So as the years are going by, Mr. Wynn was always talk to this younger man and tell the younger man that he has to change his direction about what to do with his life inside prison and not wait until he go home to try to change his course. Finally, the time came for the younger man to be paroled, and Mr. Mike just kept reminding him about what he told him and said to the young man, remember, if you keep committing crimes, they will keep locking you up. And sooner or later, watch this, sooner or later, they will lose the keys that they lock you up with. So now the younger man is about to be paroled because he only had a certain time to do. He's about to go home. And Mr. Mike reminded him, listen, young man, you're going home. Remember, I hope you worked on changing something while you was out here, inside here, because now you're going home and you're out there, and now let's see what happens. So about 6 months goes by, and the younger man was returning back to Riverfront State Prison. So listen, so the young man went home, and now 6 months goes by. He ain't been out a whole year. And he's returning back to prison. Watch this. He's returning back to prison with new charges and with another sentence to do. So the young man went home. He didn't work on anything while he was in prison. He went home, did the exact same thing. He came back. Not only did he come back to the same prison, he came back with more time to spend in prison. He had new charges. he had a new sentence to do, because when he was in prison the last time, he didn't change anything. He didn't make any minor adjustments, or he didn't make the adjustments that are necessary for his life, even though he had a person that was in there for the rest of their lives telling him that he has to make these changes before he go home. But let's keep watch. Remember, we're talking about a short story. This is a short story that's in the book. So, all right. So the 6 month, and you wouldn't believe it. Watch this. So let me start from the top of the paragraph. So about 6 months goes by, and the young man was returning to Riverfront State Prison with the new charges and with another sentence to do. And you wouldn't believe it, but guess who was still there? Mr. Mike. The two never got to be in the room again, but they will always sit and talk about life inside and outside of the prison. The younger man will sit and listen to Mr. Mike and hear every word spoken out of his mouth, whereas the younger man was amazed at the fact that Mr. Mike would have his back to the person he was playing in chess, while simultaneously giving the young man some knowledge about life. Watch this. So this particular person, Mr. Mike, will be playing chess, and he will be playing chess this or facing this way, talking to an individual, and he will be playing a man behind his back in chess, and he will ask the man in chess, yo, where you move your piece at? And then he will tell the other person where he wanted his pieces to move, and that's how he would play chess at the same time speaking to an individual. But let's keep going. Mr. Mike would just ask his competitors what move they just made, and he would instruct someone to move his pieces to so-and-so, and he would win all day that way. I think that's impressive. Again, the years went by, and now the younger man was being paroled to a halfway house. Mr. Mike would say to the young man, remember what I said. Therefore, the young man went to the halfway house, got sent back, watch this, got sent back to prison because of violating the rules. So he went to Northern State Prison, as said, to do his time. After finishing his time, they sent him back to Riverfront State Prison. And Mr. Mike, Mr. Mike the lifer, was still there. Watch this, y'all. He was still there. Watch. So as always, they would sit and talk, and the young man would listen and watch Mr. Mike play chess. One day, Mr. Mike told the young man to play basketball on his team. So the young man was on the basketball team that Mr. Mike coached, and they won championships together. The years went by, and it was time for the young man to be paroled again. So he went home, he did the same thing, and received more time for selling drugs. This time he had robbery. But they built a new prison in Bristol, New Jersey called Southwood State Prison. By this period, the young man was sent there, and if he didn't have anything consistent in his life, it was his repeated failures in Mr. Mike. Watch this. This is because Mr. Mike was at Southwood State Prison. And out of all the things that Mr. Mike told the young man from the years they were together, it was this statement that would change him forever. Mr. Mike said to him, all I want is one chance at getting out of prison, and you have received multiple chances and didn't cherish them. So the lifer said to the young man, I have watched you come to jail, go home. Come to jail, go home. Come to jail and go home. He says, if I had one chance to get out of here. He says, you have multiple chances and you haven't cherished them. The young man was eventually released from Southwood State Prison in 2005. He went through the Bo Robinson program. Then he was sent to Kentucky Group. And after there, he graduated from America's Kensington County of Mercy in 2010. He never returned to that lifestyle again due to, watch this, the grace of God. Because of what he learned and because of what he learned from Mr. Mike and in them programs. He finally applied all of it to his life, and he made, watch this, the necessary minor adjustments in his life that that same young man is who you have standing before you today. This short story is about me when I was younger in prison and with the lifer, and all the things that lifer told me. I didn't take heed to it, but eventually I took heed to it, and I made the necessary adjustments that I needed to make. And in the back of the book, there's a story, or there's a letter that I wrote the lifer when I finally embraced a new life. I wrote him and let him know and sent him pictures and told him how much he helped me and that I had finally changed my life. And in the back of my book, he has a letter of responding to seeing and hearing about how my life has been. Why am I going over this short story? It's because this short story is not just me. This short story is you also. Most of us have repeated our cycles over and over and over again. And the only thing we need to do is we need to learn how to cherish our freedom from sobriety or from drugs or criminal lifestyle. We receive multiple chances, all of us. Multiple chances over and over and over again. But just like that lifer said, he says, you receive all these chances. The only problem you having is you don't cherish them. Ah, man. Today, I just wanted to go over this short story and briefly encourage you to understand that the advice you receive from individuals are very valid. They are very useful for you to change your life and make the minor adjustments that are necessary for your life. But if we keep receiving all these opportunities and never cherish the opportunities that we are receiving, it's not the leadership's fault. It's not the parents' fault. It's simply our fault. So today, this short story was just to enlighten you and let you know that this story was truly a story, a real story about my life and me and Mr. Mike. I was with the lifer, and the lifer gave me all these pointers, and I never cherished them. But at the last time I was with him, I took heed to what he was saying, because it was possible that if I didn't get off the drugs, if I didn't kept committing crime, it was possible that I would have committed a crime that would have had me in prison for the rest of my life. This short story, let it encourage you. And remember, minor adjustments is dedicated to preventing and reducing crime. Our primary purpose is to teach men and women how to make the minor adjustments that are necessary for their lives, which will allow them to obtain and maintain a productive lifestyle after incarceration and or rehabilitation. Our motto is anywhere but backwards. Have a great day, enjoy your holiday, and we'll see you soon. God bless you.